Abel is no longer a member of ActionSA. The party announced it had terminated his membership amid allegations of sexual assault and misconduct. Dao was the party's Gauteng secretary and Human Settlements MMC in Tshwane. He's accused of attempting to sleep with his friend's wife and forcing himself on her. Abel Dao joins us now this morning. Good morning, Mr. Dao. Thank you very much for your time. Firstly, your reaction to the decision by your party to terminate your membership.
Thank you very much, and good morning to the viewers at home. Look, my reaction to the party's dismissing termination of my membership is really unfortunate. I think more than anything, sometimes, the pressure to really be seen to be acting decisively on issues that are very critical, such as issues of GBV, put us into a space where we sometimes make decisions that are irrational and are unfortunate, like the one that we currently are facing. But I understand where the party comes from, and I understand that it was under pressure as a new party to be seen to be acting with the kind of heavy-handedness that this kind of problem deserves, to give an impression to people outside that when we are in government, we will be able to act decisively on these matters and really turn things around. And it is an important statement to make. But like, in sport, when you are in a final, one of the things you don't want to make is to really, as a referee, make wrong decisions and then spoil the game. And I think this is what we are facing right now, in that I think, the kind of findings that they have made, I think, are unfortunate. The party went into a space where it said it will probe these allegations and establish for itself in an internal process whether or not there might be facts to it. On the balance of probability, the party is clear to say they cannot establish guilt on the allegations on sexual misconduct, and they go on to say then that would be dealt with criminally, which is correct. Now, if you are saying that will be dealt with criminally, then we then go back to establish that I'm innocent until proven otherwise. But also on the basis of the probe they have done, they would have established that actually in the balance of probability, I have not done what is said to have been done, because they've seen the evidence. And then the party goes on to then find me guilty on...
Apologies, I was listening to the spokesperson of your political party saying the evidence you put forward was not convincing, but I really do want us to delve deeper into this and start with the 6 charges. There were 6 according to our understanding, 5 for bringing the party into disrepute. The 6th they maintain related to the rape matter, which they resolved not to look into. They'd leave it to our courts to deal with. So of the 5, just take us through these 5. What were you charged with?
So I was charged with 6 charges. The 5 were in relation to bringing the party into disrepute. So they would say charge 1.7 maybe. You are alleged to have breached that clause, and it states that a member of the party would be guilty of a misconduct of bringing the party to disrepute if they are found to have appeared in the media in a manner that puts the party in bad light. Now, those are all the charges. Now, the 5 charges, all of them, stem from the 6th charge that they are saying now they don't want to look into, meaning I appeared in the media because I'm alleged to have tried to force myself onto a friend's wife. And obviously, I did not bring myself there. So in that hearing, we spoke to it. The presiding officer made a ruling to say, actually, I must get an amended charge sheet. There's only one charge to respond to, which is to prove whether or not I have violated this woman. Now, and the proceedings, we then demonstrated that that is not the case. And in that, it was clear that we would then be able to, if that charge cannot be proved, or if we can prove I've not done that, then the other charges fall off on their own, because I wouldn't have been in the media had it not been for that charge. And therefore, that charge, I did not bring myself in the media for that charge. Therefore, it is absurd that when you bring evidence onto that platform and they say on the basis of the evidence that we listen to, then we're thinking we are now finding you guilty on bringing the party into disrepute. I can tell you now that we, even before the hearing, I actually raised this in points in limine, and I said to them, tell me, if you say I brought the party into disrepute, what would I have done? And they have failed to say that, because when you charge somebody, you say, you have brought the organization, if I'm talking about you, eNCA, to disrepute because you were seen drunk at a party. Now, you know that you must respond to being seen drunk at a party. That is what you must respond to. And in this case, they said, if you respond to the main charge, then if we can't prove the main charge, then all other charges fall off. But in this case, they have themselves satisfied themselves that in the balance of probability, I may have not done what they said I would have. Therefore, they will await the criminal case. Therefore, it goes without saying. Then the other charge is false until we are able to then resolve that. Now, in this case, they then say, no, but actually now we think as a leader, because one of the charges, charge 1, I'm told that I'm found guilty because I should have reasonably had an understanding that I should not allow someone in my bedroom. Now, that for me is crazy upset. That's not what we were there for, to say I brought somebody into my bedroom, then I ended up in the news. I was there to say the person who came into my bedroom claims that I allegedly tried to force myself on her. And that is what we need to deal with. Now, in this case, in the interest of playing to the gallery, really, ActionSA decided to say, no, let's show a strong-handedness, and then we'll do this. I can tell you now, I mean, there was no investigation into this, because had they gone into, when you charge, just about investigate, the process itself, where it starts, they would have been able to hear from me, and I would have given them the evidence that I presented in the hearing. But that was not the case. But be that as it may, we went through the processes, and really there were a number of flaws. I mean, the newspaper article, I respected this process, and I never went to talk to the media, even under heavy pressure, to state my side. The newspaper article that happened on Sunday, the president came out to comment.
Yes, I mean, that would have said that there's a lot of pressure now on you. Apologies. But when that article came out, one would assume it wouldn't have formed part of the charges because you were suspended before that article. But when we hear of more women coming out accusing you of sexual assault, one would think the party then would really need to act.
Yes, I do agree, but also the party then owes it to me to really investigate, because these are faceless people. There are allegations of faceless people, nameless people. I mean, anyone who's been politically assassinated, you can name anyone and say there are people, there's somebody. I mean, I was talking to one lady who is said to have been mentioned. She actually called me because I avoided
your former political party colleague, yes. One of your former colleagues from ActionSA.
Yes, she says this is madness. I don't believe they brought me into this. This has never happened. We've had this incident. It was probed by the chief whip of council about in 2020 when there were still those lies and trying to be assassinated in this way. But it is unfortunate that the party then decide to listen to these matters and not even come to me and give me a chance to state my side and say, no, actually, this is what happened. This is person X that is alleged to have had an abortion. Go and talk to them so that you are able to then get to the bottom of this. And it can only mean one thing, that from the pressure that they have created, because somewhere it is alleged that I said I'm going back to work, and the president is quoted as saying, who said I'm going to work? Then creating a situation where now I must be fired at all costs, which is just unfortunate. And
but he said you were making it difficult. Apologies, but he said you were making it difficult for yourself. Perhaps you can clarify for us. Did you return to the office while you were still on your special leave or suspended and get to the office and tell staff that you'll be returning after your exams and Dipope sal dance when you return?
I have not, and that is the question that would have been prudent to ask. I drove to the office to collect my study material. I was writing exams. I did not meet any staff member. I called to say I'll come and collect the stuff. I got to the reception of my office, took the stuff, and literally left without even talking to anyone. I met the group head of my department at the entrance of the building. I did not even talk to her. I greeted her and left. And that is why this is so unfortunate, that in the face of attacks like this, then the party takes a posture of being on the offensive to the one person that they must protect, because these attacks are not there because I am Abel now. These attacks are there because I'm an ActionSA representative in the city who is doing work on behalf of the party, and therefore it is in the interest of the party to get to the bottom of the truth without just getting a call from a journalist and you assume that is gospel truth without even talking to me. I mean, the party has not spoken to me to check just that question that you just asked now.
And then the car? Did you instruct a driver to come and fetch a family friend of yours and drive them to the airport while you were still suspended?
No, I have not. And that is what I have said. Those are all lies. Just like the lie on me going to the office and talking to the staff, the lie around the car, it's a lie. I mean, these people who are being quoted as having given rise to this, to say they are there, they called me and said, we are sorry, we saw these things on the media, and we don't know where these things come from. These things are lies, pure lies. I mean, the kind of women, so-called women, apparently these people were supposed to testify as well at the hearing and never showed up. I mean, that is how much of these lies are being peddled. And unfortunately, this is the basis on which the party is saying, then they find me guilty. They find me guilty from some lies that are peddled in their papers, and I was not asked to respond to those lies. And that's what I said. I said, if the party wanted to probe me on my conduct, then that should be the charges to say, we want you to come and answer for your conduct on one, that you have impregnated somebody and they had to abort. Number two, that there's a party member somewhere who says you wanted sex favors for them to be on the list. And I'll tell them that no, but I was responsible for the Joburg list. You know, it's simple answers that are there that they should have just a simple probe into this would have done the trick. A picking up of the phone and saying, what is really happening? And I cannot help but believe that there is more at play here than all of this that we are seeing, because we have had incidences of people being reported for sexual misconduct, serious issues where a councillor in Johannesburg right now in the city council, there was a formal complaint laid, and the chairperson of the Ethics and Disciplinary Committee was asked not to probe that matter and not have a disciplinary inquiry on it. So we cannot sit here and say ActionSA has zero tolerance on GBV and sexual misconduct, because that has happened. Here in Tshwane, there was a lady who reported the former regional chairperson for sexual misconduct, and she was rewarded with a job in a political office to silence it. Now, you don't get to that point, and these are issues that we have raised. I have volunteered to step aside from office and take special leave so that we can probe these matters, because I want to give law. We are a party of the rule of law. I want to give the law a chance so that we are able to get to the bottom of this. And when we have, I will demonstrate that you go as a man, you do have recourse, you go after the people who falsely accuse you.
So that you are able to. What is the form of recourse now? Because, apologies for interjecting yet again. So what is the form of recourse now? They have terminated your membership. Where to from here?
Look, from here, I am definitely going to court. I think it is not good for my reputation as well as for my standing. I am a father. I have a 21-year-old daughter who I want to fight that they live in a country where they are not going to be violated as a woman. I take issues of GBV very seriously. I have been a very, very, very staunch supporter of the fight against GBV, and therefore I cannot allow a situation where I am left with a cloud like this hanging over me. I want to state it on record that the party has not found me guilty of sexual misconduct, that they live to the court, but they are talking issues of conduct, which was not what I'm tried for. So I've instructed my lawyers to go to the North Gauteng High Court, and then we will meet in court. I will challenge this. I need to obviously be cleared, and then we can then talk. If the party then wants to talk about my conduct, let's have a conversation around my conduct. I will prove as well that I have been an upstanding man who, with absolute pride, can stand before society and say, look at me and look at my conduct. I live a life that I can be proud to say you can see me as a role model and as an example for how you live. I have been married for 23 years with one wife. I have raised all my kids myself. I believe I'm one of the best fathers this country has, and many people can attest to that.